What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Some commentary for you. Do me a favor, take a moment, hit that like button, subscribe button, criticism in the comment section, Twitter. Shutdown Safety is my username. I've been in Pittsburgh for a full week, if you weren't aware. Good friend of mine, Anthony Smith, fought Hector Lombard, UFC on Fox 116. You can rewatch it tonight if you didn't see it. It's on FX1. I think it's 7 o'clock. You might want to check that out. We also filmed some vlogs for Flow Combat. Well, I guess I filmed some vlogs for Flow Combat while we were out there. I'll put a link down in the description. You guys want to check them out. It does intertwine to my channel because we played Madden while we were out there, and we got some footage of that. There's also some breakdowns from those games that will be appearing on my channel shortly. But I had a lot of time to reflect. I looked at some of the videos that I'd put up. I rewatched some of them, which I normally don't do, and I really paid attention to your guys' comments. And the ones that impacted me the most were the 2K5, 2K8 videos, because so much of the sentiment you guys expressed to me was the same sentiment I have. And it really brought me back. And I reminisced a little bit about where I was the day I found out that 2K5 and 2K football really had died. And I think the way I feel about it is maybe a little different than you guys might have. So I wanted to kind of revisit it. But I guess, first of all, I want to talk to you guys about the first time I played a 2K football game. It was on the Sega Dreamcast. And I remember distinctly being blown away by the quality of the game. The smoothness of the game to this day stays with me. And I remember throwing a touchdown pass to Randy Moss. And in that moment, I literally thought to myself, wow, if that wasn't Randy Moss, that catch might not have been possible. And that probably laid the foundation for a lot of my breakdowns. Because in that moment, I distinctly felt a connection between me, the football game, and myself as a football fan. And I never wanted that moment to leave. I always wanted to be able to connect to my team or my player and feel like I had control of them. So when I heard that 2K5 and 2K Sports really was going to lose the NFL exclusivity license, part of me was actually really happy. And I say that because even at the time, I knew the NFL held a high standard of quality and integrity. And they didn't put their name on things that were failures. And perhaps a bit naively, I thought to myself, well, this is how EA is going to step up. The league is to become involved. They're going to have the wealth of resources at their disposal, and there's going to be no more excuses. The NFL is going to come in, they're going to give them all the tools they need, and there's going to be no reason this game can't be the best it can be. And if you think about it, that is a very true thought process. You know, think about NFL Europe. You know, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of investment. Didn't pan out, the NFL did away with it. NFL Magazine, a lot of promotion, a lot of push, a lot of desire. Didn't work out. Very quickly, the NFL did away with it. NFL Network. You remember when NFL Network first started? I do. I remember watching the same channel, the same show, NFL Total Access, over and over and over and over again. I didn't care it was the same show. I was so glad to have a football channel. And now they've grown it into award-winning content. Award-winning coverage of football games. They've created a whole dimension of 24-hour-a-day football that a lot of us didn't think was possible. And to be honest with you, I didn't see a way that the football game wasn't going to have that same path to success. I really naively thought to myself, this was the kick that EA needed. This was going to be the hump that they had to get over, where the league said, hey, wait a second, you're not going to continue to make what I thought was a subpar product in relation to the other games in the marketplace and just put our seal of approval as a hologram on the front. You're going to be forced to make a better game, and if you can't, then in a couple years we're going to get out of this agreement and we're going to find somebody that can. And sadly, that never happened. But what never ever changed was what I looked for and the feeling that I had. That first Randy Moss touchdown, of all things, is what I wanted to have again. I wanted to be able to play a game and say, listen, the Colts are horrible because they don't have Andrew Luck. And I'm going to have to suffer through this game with Scott Tolzien or Jacoby Brissett, and I'm going to feel a true difference in my gameplay experience because I don't have my quarterback. Or the Colts are great because they've got Peyton Manning, and I'm going to play them because I want the Peyton Manning experience. I want to be able to use Peyton Manning, which is going to be different than maybe the Panthers at the time, who had Jake Delhomme. Or I want to play as the Washington Redskins, because I want that guy, my favorite player, well, I guess one of my favorite players of all time, Sean Taylor, rookie year number 36 before he switched number 21. I want to play with Sean Taylor on my defense. That meant a lot to me as a fan. For those of you who don't know, I have a massive NFL collection. I probably spend upwards of $1,000 a month on memorabilia. I probably have 300 game-used jerseys. I have a distinct connection to my life to the NFL and football because they mean a lot to me as sports. And the day that 2K football died is a day that has stuck with me. Not just because of what I lost, but because of what I never got back. And a lot of people ask, well, why does your channel, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep making these videos? Haven't you made these videos enough? No, I actually haven't. Because I'm going to continue to make these videos, not until 2K Sports comes back, because that may never happen. But until Madden gets to the point that I want it to be, the point that I know it can be at. The point where I can look at it and say, okay, that game is fantastic. That play was incredible. Let me make a breakdown of this play because of how special it was. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. And I thought, you know, of all the things that have gotten taken from me, theoretically, over the past 10 years in terms of football games and video games and football in general, one of the biggest ones is something I can't really answer. What would my relationships be with the EA development team if my channel didn't have to focus on the problems the game had? I mean, there's a Game Changer now. The guy has less than, I think, 200 subscribers. Gets about 80 videos, or 80 views a video. And not to say that that's what matters. None of that really matters. I guess in a way it matters to me because of the support you guys give my channel. But all he does is make positive breakdowns. And not really breakdowns. He just makes kind of tutorials about how to play the game better. I'm not to that point. When the game gets to that point where I think any of it matters, I'll be glad to sit there and do it. But I feel like if I could have set aside all the issues, or if the game was to the standard I expected it to have been at 10 plus years ago, I would probably be in a position to have one of the best relationships with EA as any commentator out here. And that's not to say that we have a bad relationship. We don't. But it just makes me wonder what could have been. Not just with what could have been with Madden, what could have been with 2K, what could have been with that relationship. I know what wanting the best game possible has created with other video game companies. I just don't know what it would have created with Madden. So with that said, I know this has been kind of a longer video than I normally do. I appreciate you guys sitting through it. You know, I'd love to know your thoughts on this, your opinions on this. Do you remember the day that you read that article? Did you have similar feelings that I did, that things were going to get better? Or did you know the impending doom, apparently, that was going to be coming down the pike where things just never seemed to get where they needed to be? Love to know your thoughts on it. Appreciate you guys checking this out. And, of course, the support you always show me in my channel. You know that I'll be back very soon with more comments.